First impressions, obviously a game that could have gone your way. A couple of tough shots at the end that didn't go out.
Yeah, we got to shoot it better against good teams. We didn't shoot it well enough as a whole. Some people did. Some people played really well offensively, and some didn't. And we got to shoot the ball a little bit better throughout the game if we want to win against good teams. And we had talked about in the locker room that there was no moment or possession that was any less or more important, that they were all going to be really important. And there were a couple of things that we practice all the time. Some of the help and then you got to check out, or some of the switching out, communicating the shooters. Believe it or not, we did know that Prechtel and Jump were shooters. It just didn't look that way a couple times, and they made all those ones. So I think the combination of a couple defensive, in a game that's 4 points against a team that I ranked on the voting, I ranked them first in the country to start the season. You can't have 3 or 4 defensive misses. There might have been more than that, and shoot it, 37% from the field just won't ever really get it done.
So. You haven't played in a while in front of a crowd that size, that loud. Did that contribute a little bit to the defensive misses?
Maybe. I think our players would like me to say yes. I think that sometimes in practice when there's no one there but the team, we sometimes aren't real loud, but it certainly is different. And yesterday in practice I mentioned that. I mentioned it more as an offensive thing because we have all these play calls, signals, and we just like to say it one time and not use the signal and no one echo it, and then you can't tell. And so offensively, that only happened to us, I think, once or twice where we were off, not on the same page offensively, and it was mostly just a positioning thing, not a call. But I definitely think that if you're communicating, I was screaming at the top of my lungs a couple times, and they don't know that, So the people on the floor definitely have to be the ones talking, and it was a fun crowd to be in front of. So I would take that fan experience and that student-athlete game experience and then just figure out how to talk a little bit louder.
Tomorrow when you look from the 20,000-foot level at this game moving forward, are you still disappointed or are you encouraged for what you saw today against the Bulldogs?
Well, Dennis, I told our team that we have moved past, I think in our first years here, when I was a GA, in our first few years here, a moral victory was fine. We're too good now. We can compete with the best teams in the country. We are among the best teams in the country. And so we don't look at the moral victories anymore. But one of the things also, as I've grown as a coach, is I realized that you can't be it's not the end of the world every time you lose a game. And so we're trying to, I told those guys, you need to be mad, and then also, we did some good things and learn from it. So I think we certainly did some good things. I don't know what they are yet. I can only tell you what I recollect. I love Lynn coming off that shot. If we could get 10 more seconds on the clock, we would run that same thing again for her. I loved Vonnie attacking and Mel attacking some of those guys. I loved some of the plays we called for lies. So I think that there'll be things that we change, but I'm probably going to feel about like I do right now. I'm pissed, but at the same time, we did some good things. It's a sign of maturity, I feel like, if you guys want to write that. Yes?
So I feel like the first quarter, the opening quarter, the way you guys opened was extremely aggressive. You guys were very on the ball. Can you kind of talk about the game plan you had set just to open up the game?
Yeah, we knew that we didn't want to get down against Stanford, and we wanted to play aggressive. We wanted to pressure. They're so good. They space you out, and they back cut, and they curl, and they get the right person in the right spot all the time. They're really smart down there. And so we didn't want to get spaced out, but we also wanted to, if there was someone who jumped an area they weren't supposed to, we wanted to make sure that they couldn't see that pass so easily. So the ball pressure, the active hands to just throw off the timing for a second, or allow us to tip a pass here and there was a huge key that we had. It was one of the big things. And last time we played them, we had 37 disruptions, and it was, or 47, I'm sorry. It was really important. It was impactful to the game. And so I think some of the players got tired. We did a pretty good job. I don't have our disruption numbers here, but I think we tried to be active the whole time. Once we got ourselves in the blenders in that second quarter, I think that then they had to refocus and get back into that position, that place internally. But I loved how active our hands were, because if not, they cut fast, they're long. So if the ball comes right here, that's good. But if we can make it come up here, a little bit further away, then that's usually something that we can control or tip out of bounds.
Another thing that I noticed was the defense on the perimeter was very clean, very tight, very restricted. Can you talk about the game plan for Stanford that they actually, not survive, but they thrive on the perimeter offense?
Yeah, just you had to do your job. I mean, our plan is you do your job, and then your teammates are going to have your back. And we use that on and off the court, and on defense and on offense. So we had to apply pressure. We had to know where Lexi Hull was. She's a great player. We had to know where Hannah Jump was. We had to know what Lacey and Anna Wilson were going to do. Those were the 4 main perimeter players that we were going to see, with Haley being out. And so we had to know what they were going to do, and then your teammates have your back. So you stop them, and they'll cover what's behind you, was the goal, at least.
And just one last question. You did mention Haley, and I know her absence has kind of seemed their game time. Was that decision to focus on the perimeter made after the announcement of Haley's absence?
No. That's how we were going to play regardless. Yeah, we weren't sure what we were going to do with her. We had plans to put Melody on her. She's, I think, kind of running the 4, if you can call it that. They run 4 out, really. She handles it so much. But Mel's really an agile defender, so is Yvonne. And so we were going to go with them first, and if we needed to put Abby or a Kaylee or a different guard on them, then we would make an adjustment. Yeah.
Can you talk about Eliza's game tonight and kind of her progression so far?
Yeah, she really gave us a boost. I think the thing with Eliza, she's a phenomenal shooter. When she first got here, I was shooting with her in the trunks, and she beat them in a shooting competition from 3. And I realized I hadn't seen her live yet. But what she's working hard on is the physicality part of it, and she can play. If she can pin and get open and those kind of things, then she'll always be able to shoot it. And so what I was most impressed with today was how she was able to play in that game that was extremely physical. People are pushing you all over the place. They have long arms. They're trying to get around, and she was still effective during that. So for me, that was the biggest bonus, because I expect her to make all those shots. That's why we start calling plays for her as soon as she come in. So again, I thought she did a really nice job there. And defensively, I thought that she did a good job as well, just kind of keeping them in front. They're long and athletic, man. We don't see that every day. Maybe it's helpful that she gets to go against Vonnie and Mel. Maybe it's paying off. Yeah.
I'm sure you heard the crowd during the national anthem. Just what were your thoughts on that?
I was a little bit disappointed in some of our fans. I think that most people nowadays are familiar with why people kneel for the anthem. We love our veterans. We love our military. We're in great support of that. The kneeling for the anthem that our players are doing is in regards to social injustice and racial issues that still exist in our world. It has nothing to do with anything about hating our country or anything like that. And so the people who come to our games, I know, want to come and watch our team play basketball. I know that they love us, and I know our players do as well. I think that they really rallied from the few people who called out to us, and again, disappointed, but not something that our team seemed to be too affected by, because they all know, obviously, that we're doing different things. Some people are standing, some people are kneeling, but we're all united in the reason behind that. And hopefully we'll be able to get our fans behind that idea, and we can start having conversations about how to fight against the injustices that are in the world.
You talked about their length, and you also talked about how poorly you shot today. Correlation?
Probably. I think that either they were contested, although we had some uncontested shots, but you're not at your speed some of the time when they're speeding you up and making you can't get a clean shot or a clean screen, so sometimes you don't have the distance that you would normally have coming off of a screen. I know that we ran a lot of ball screens, and there are long arms up. I know Kaylee tried to shoot a couple of them over Prechtel, or she got there, didn't want to get blocked, and then reversed, so she's kind of fading away. So we did get off balance on a couple of them. So I think that their length probably had something to do with it, yeah.
They're also pretty darn versatile. They can play a lot of different positions, and they're able to switch a lot whenever they wanted to. You don't see that very often in your league. Is that why you do this? Play games like this so you're ready for it when you do see it, maybe kind of March?
Yeah, well, I think Tara and I probably do this for the same reasons. See how tough your team is early on against a good team. She knows that we're always going to be good. I know that they're always going to be good. We go against each other all day, and we're, we had the 3 guards that are a little bit smaller, but after that, we're pretty darn long too. And it's just different when you go against another team. Anna Wilson's been there 6 years. The Holes have been there for 4 years. Obviously, those other guys play beyond their age a little bit. So I think that we do it because we want to just see how ready we are and be prepared for conference. Yes, certainly NCAA tournament, that's always our goal. We still have some pretty stiff non-conference games coming up, and so just get our feet wet, get back into it, all right, we've played a few games now. Where are we at? Now we can go back to the drawing board and figure out what areas we need to clean up.
Matches. Can you talk about what that was like to see things coming together in that opening quarter?
Yeah, I'll start. For me, like our game plan was we needed to come out ready to play. We've had a couple games where we've picked it up pretty quickly, but the start hasn't always been great, and we knew against a team like Stanford, if you don't have a great start, then the rest is not going to follow well. So our whole game plan was we had to get energy and just really come out with a bang, and I think we did that, and it was really nice. And once you start with that energy, it's very easy to keep playing off of it, whereas if you don't, trying to get that back is much more difficult.
Yeah, just to piggyback off Mel, it was really coming out with like being focused. We want our best focus offensively and defensively, and coming out with a really strong start. Like Stanford's one of the best teams in the nation, and you can't have a lapse. And having our first foot forward was, I think, advantageous for us to like have Stanford realize and get them on the back foot.
Mm-hmm.
What changed
In
the second quarter when they started to make that run?
I mean, I feel like not a lot changed. Both teams are going to make runs. In good games, there's always going to be runs. It's the game of basketball. That's what basketball is. It's a game of runs. So we made ours early, and we knew that they were going to come out and make their run, and our idea was just to stop them as soon as possible when they did. So that's what you saw in the second quarter. I don't think anything dramatically changed. I think they just started hitting shots and going on a run, and like I said earlier, energy is contagious. Like, once you start hitting shots, you hit more shots, and that's their run. So just the game plan to try to limit that as much as we could.
I think Mel put it perfectly. Yeah.
No matter where they're ranked, you guys always keep up with this Stanford team. Just what do you think it is about this program that kind of gets you guys in this mindset against them? Because
Yeah.
whoever wants to go first.
Yeah.
I mean, we come to Gonzaga to play big teams and against with 6,000 fans. So I guess that is like just having the fuel behind us playing Stanford. Like, it's always a really exciting game. It's a game that I personally and our team looks forward to, and especially being like unranked on top 25, it's like a good place for us to showcase what we have on our team. I think we have a lot of different players that contribute a lot of different aspects. And to be put on a bigger stage and to show what we have against Stanford, I think like fuels us a lot.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, especially with our league. Like, I don't think right now anybody in our league is ranked. So having someone come in that is ranked is our opportunity to show what we can do and to play against a ranked opponent and to get seen and to get that recognition that we think we deserve. So for us, it's a big deal. Like, this is our opportunity, and so we always come ready to take it.
Do you think you proved the top 25 voters today that you deserve to be in it?
I mean, I hope so. I think we showed that we should be there. Obviously, I'm not in charge of the votes, but I think we really showed that we deserve to be up there. And so I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they think.
Yeah.
Melanie, did you learn anything about your team today that maybe you didn't know about you guys?
I don't know if I would say I learned anything I didn't know. Obviously, it's great to see everybody come out and do what they can do, even on a bigger stage. Like, I know that they can do that stuff. I know Lice can hit shots. I know Lee can take people off the dribble. Like, I know Vonnie can just destroy people inside. But just to see that come out in a big game, I think is just something different. So I'm not sure if I learned something about them, but to see them do what they can normally do against a higher opponent was something that was great to see.
Speaking of Yvonne, she was very present on both sides of the ball. Can you talk about how that opened up offensive opportunities for you?
Yeah, for sure. Vaughn is always she's a great player all around, but she just brings different energy into this game and to all games, really. She can defend guards and posts, and I think some guards kind of get confused about that too, because she's a post. Like, if you're a guard and you get switched off, it's like, oh, like, I can attack them, but she's not a post that you can attack. She will just steal it from you and take it the other way. So having her on the defensive side, just getting tips and getting steals and being able to switch guard and post is nice. And then obviously on the offensive side, when she goes and posts up or when she faces up, I just know she's going to take someone down. So just having that energy of, like, that confidence in your teammate that I'm there for her and she's there for me, and I know that she can do what she's doing. Sorry.
And I also wanted to talk about that third quarter break. It seemed like Stanford came out of the ball a little bit stronger than usual. What was the plan for both of you guys trying to stop the momentum that Stanford was carrying from the second quarter into the third?
Yeah, I mean, we ended the half, I think, 3 points up, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, and we started off like amazingly. I think we're almost up 20 points. So we knew that we could get back to that. We knew it was achievable. And I think just having that in the back of our minds, like we can do this, was, I guess, part of the game plan to getting back and making sure that we don't let Stanford get away from us and keep on their run. Just getting stop and score, just like sticking to the game plan, playing good defense, just really focusing, I think, just overall focus for us.
Yeah, for sure. And to piggyback off of that, it's just obviously when you're up and it starts going away, obviously you want to stop it, but it's tough to stop a team's momentum, especially when they come out hot. So just doing what we could to get those stops, I think that's really where our focus was, is we knew we can do it on the offensive side. When you get stops, it's so much easier to score, but we just had to like buckle down and really get those stops, and I think we saw that kind of turn around at the end of the third going into the fourth.
When it comes to atmosphere, the fact that this was a pendulum swing, very back and forth in a razor edge game, how much does the atmosphere that the fans brought today kind of incorporate or factor into that, I guess, very electric kind of energy throughout the entire game, especially at the very end?
Yeah, for sure. I think it has a big like, what is the word? A big emphasis and a lot to do with the game. Obviously, last year we had basically no fans in every game. I think my parents came to 2 games at the end, and it was like only parents, like no one else could come. Just giving you that energy, that boost when things are going bad and one turnover, or you get one steal, that the whole crowd is going to erupt for you, and just having that like that energy just to be able to know that you can do it and you could get back. I feel like it's just a big help. And obviously it makes it more difficult for them. Every mistake they make, you have someone cheering. Every free throw, you have someone talking about how it's a travel or something else. Like, it's going to wear on you. So I think just having that energy, it's like a 6-man out there, someone else to help out.
Yeah, I think it's amazing having 6,000 people have your back. I mean, we have each other's back, but when you have the whole crowd shouting that's a travel, it's like, it feels kind of great. Definitely, like, from the start, it's just, the atmosphere is unreal. It's kind of hard to describe. It's definitely a little bit terrifying, but they're in support of you, so it makes it all the better. And definitely, like, for Stanford, like, having the student section wave their arms and yell at them, I think it definitely affects them and their foul shots, as we saw tonight. But, yeah, it was amazing having the fans here. I really felt it personally. I know our team did. Yeah, it was really amazing to see everyone out there.
One more question. How many times growing up did you run into the halls?
All the time.
Hoop fest and everything?
Yeah, all the time, especially AAU. Hoop Fest actually not that really, but I think that's because I had to stop Hoop Fest like high school, so it was like you didn't see them as much. But AAU, like, constantly, and it was actually to the point that I was getting like frustrated because we'd go to like Houston, and it'd be like the first game, and we would play them, and I'm like, why am I even here? Like, we could play them at home. Like, why did I travel all the way over here to play them? But yeah, I feel like every single tournament we would run into them at some point, whether that be early on or in the championship, we were always going at each other.
So what does that build between the three of you? Is it like Shakespeare said, contempt, or is it more respect? What do you know?
I think it's definitely respect, at least on my end. I can't speak for them, but I feel like it's definitely respect. We've played them at high school too, and then just in AAU all the time. I know what they can do. I know how great of players they are. They've come in and pick up before. Like, I think it just builds like a mutual respect. We know each other, what we can do, and what great players we are.
That could be your final game against them, depending upon, who decides to come back, whatever. What is that like thinking about that?
What was that one more time? Sorry.
That could be your final game against them, but what is it like kind of thinking about that?
Yeah, kind of crazy, surreal. I don't know. We play each other a lot. I don't know. More surreal, like I said. I think we can do a lot in the NCAA tournament, so I'm hesitant to say that it's our final game against them, but yeah, just surreal.